अखण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम्। नमः पङ्कजनाभाय नमः पङ्कजमालिने नमः पङ्कजनेत्राय नमस्ते पङ्कजाङ्ग्रये। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। नमो ब्रह्मण्यदेवाय गोब्राह्मणहिताय च जगद्हिताय कृष्णाय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्। सर्वेभ्यो नमः। सर्वेषां कृते स्वागतम्. So we will begin with the Purvavalokanam, revision, a quick recap of what we did in the last session, and then we will go on to the next shlokas, the 3 shlokas for today. Today we are doing shloka number 17, 18 and 19 of the 8th chapter of Bhagavad-Gita. So in the very last session, we spoke about Sri Bhagavan describing his abode, his existence. Okay. The 15th shloka was Mamupetya punarjanma dukkhalayam ashashvatam napnuvanti mahatmanaha samsiddhim paramangataha. So Sri Bhagavan pointed out that once you attain me, that is the highest perfection of life. It is samsiddhim, means perfection, comprehensive perfection. And among different types of comprehensive perfection, the highest one, because paramam samsiddhim. And such people who have attained that kind of perfection, they will never be reborn in this material existence. There is no rebirth in this existence. And this existence is very much unlike his existence. This is temporary. It's dukkhalayam. It's filled with misery. Whereas his existence is permanent, eternal, and completely free from misery. There's no misery there. Okay? Then he says, Abrahma bhuvanal lokaha punaravartino arjuna mamupetya tu kaunteya punarjanmana vidyate. So he emphasizes, he compares his abode with that of Brahma. Because in this material universe that we are living in, Brahma is the topmost living being. And he lives in a place which is also called as Brahmaloka. We call it Brahmaloka or Satyaloka. Both are names for the same place. So Shri Bhagavan points out that, okay, you may think that why take the trouble to go to my abode? Even in this universe, there are very exalted places. Like Swargaloka is there, then above that Maharloka, Janoloka, Tapoloka, and then Satyaloka. The greatest people in this universe live in Satyaloka. So why are you making such a big fuss about your abode? So he's answering that, look, whatever you achieve in this world, even if you go to Satyaloka, that is also punaravartina, means you will have to take rebirth. You live there for some time, you will have happiness, but it's not permanent. Even the world of Brahma is temporary. Okay, now he elaborates on that. If that one line is not convincing enough, he says, I have 3 more shlokas to tell you about Brahmaloka. What exactly happens there? Don't get carried away by Brahmaloka, it's nothing big. So he says, Sahasra Yuga Paryantam Aharyad Brahmano Viduhu Ratrim Yuga Sahasrantam Teho Ratra Vido Janaha. So Sahasra, so he is actually describing Brahma's time scale. Okay, first he says that, look, all right, I know Brahma is not an ordinary person, and I acknowledge that. Brahma's lifespan is much, much bigger than the human lifespan that we experience on this earth, right? Sahasra Yuga Paryantam. So 4 caturyugas, four yugas, Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, Kali Yuga, together is called one Caturyuga. 1000 caturyugas make up one daytime of Brahma. So Sahasra Yuga Paryantam, ahaha means daytime. Yet Brahmano Viduhu, those who know that this is the daytime of Brahma. They also know Ratrim Yuga Sahasrantam. His night time is also 1000 Chaturyugas long. And they are called as Ahoratra Vido. Te Ahoratra Vido Janaha. So these are the people who understand the universal time scale. Ahoratra vidaha means the people who understand the universal time scale, how it works. Most people don't, because we are absorbed in our own time scale, right? We all think we are going to live 100 years and we count our years in some particular manner, right? So we have our own time scale and we are conditioned by that. But there are people who have studied the Shastra deeply and they know how this universal time scale works. And they know that people in different states of existence, they don't experience time in the same manner. Okay, I will come a little bit later to that. So he's actually trying to compare Brahma's time scale with our time scale and say that, yes, I do know that Brahma in Satyaloka has a very long lifespan, extremely long lifespan. In fact, Brahma's lifespan is equal to the lifespan of this universe. According to our Vedic understanding, the universe is created along with Brahma. Brahma is given that, then Jivatma is given the birth of Brahma. And his entire lifespan, he is in charge of this universe. He does the different creations and destructions in the universe. He takes care of that. And at the end of his life, this entire universe is wrapped up. So I will read the description of this shloka and then we will come back. Let me see where I have. Yeah, it's here. Yeah, here we are. So we will read both Vishwanath Chakravarti and Baladev Vidyabhushana's commentary. Both are similar, but we will find differences. Nanu Amritam Kshemam Abhayam Trimurdhno Adhai Murdhasu. This is from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavata Puranam. So there's a particular shloka in the Dvitiya Skanda of Bhagavatam, the Sashta Adhyaya, 6th chapter, 19th shloka. It says, Amritam Kshemam Abhayam Trimurdhno Adhai Murdhasu. Actually, it refers to Vaikuntha. It says that in Vaikuntha, there is Amrita, nectar, and there is Kshema. Kshema means kindness or love, Kshema. Abhaya means freedom from fear. There's no fear there. Trimurtanaha adhai murdasu. So Trimurtanaha means that which is above the three lokas. Murdhni means the head, that which is above the three lokas. Murdhasu, in that topmost position, Sri Bhagavan has given these qualities. These qualities are present there. Okay. Now, some people, iti dvitiya skandhoktya, keshanchit mate brahmalokasya abhayatva shravanat, sannyasi birapi, jigamishatatvat, tatratyanam patah na sambhavyate. So some people, they think that this shloka refers to Satyaloka, Brahmaloka, and the great sannyasis who do tapasya, etc. on the earth, by the virtue of their tapashakti, by the tapasya and the punya they get, they become very sattvic. So they become eligible to go to Satyaloka. And they may think, sometimes they think that going to Satyaloka is eternity. There is no fall from there. So he's asking, is that true? Is that really true? He says, no. Ma evam, maivam. Maivam means ma evam. It's not true. Talloka swamino brahmano api pataha syat. The Lord of that place, the Swami of that place, which is Brahma, he also will fall down. Means he also will have a second life after this life. Okay. Kimuta anyeshamiti. What to speak of others who are not in the position of Brahma, people who are lower than Brahma, obviously they also will. Iti vyanjayan aha sahasra iti. And to explain, this is why he has spoken the shloka. Sahasram yugani paryantaha avasanam yasya tad brahmanaha ahardhinam yad ye shastra bhigyaha viduhu jananti te ahoratra vido janaha ratrimapi tasya yuga sahasrantam viduhu. This is what I just said. Those who know that his day is 1000 caturyugas long, they also know his night is also 1000 caturyugas long. Tena tadrisha ahoratraihi pakshamasadi kramena varshashatam brahmanaha paramayuriti. So taking those 1000 caturyugas as one daytime and 1000 caturyugas as one night time, then you count the paksha. Just like on earth, we have one paksha means period of about 15 days. So there are 15 tithis in one paksha, then 15 more in the other pakshas, Krishna paksha, Shukla paksha. Together become one masa, 1 month. And then there is 12 months in 1 year. And then 100 years is like a reference for all of us don't live 100 years, but 100 years given like a reference for a human lifetime. Similarly, Brahma lives like that. Paksha Masa, his own daytime into Pakshas converted to Masa, converted to 100 years. That much he lives. Yes. Etadante tasyapi pataha. At the end of it, he also has a death or pataha. Means he doesn't die like the way we die. Our death is one type. We are human beings. But his life gets over. And then he has to again take rebirth according to his qualification. But he says, na kasyachit vaishnavasya tasya brahmanaha mokshascha iti vyanjitam. But only an exception will be somebody who is already a Vishnu Bhakta. Vaishnava. Vaishnava means a Vishnu Bhakta. Person who is already absorbed in bhakti, like our Brahma. Brahma of our universe is called Caturyuga Brahma. So like this, there are Chaturmukha Brahma, I'm sorry. Chaturmukha Brahma because he has got 4 heads. So like our universe, there are many, many universes which come out of the body of Mahavishnu. It is described in the Shastra. So each of them has one Brahma. So our Brahma happens to be also a Vaishnava, means he is absorbed in bhakti to Vishnu. So for our Brahma, there is no rebirth. He will get mukti after his lifetime is over, when this universe comes to an end. But generally speaking, any Brahma will have rebirth. Okay, that's what he explains. Swargadayah satyantaha sarve lokaha kala parichinnatvat vinashyanti. This is Baladev Vidyabhushana's commentary. Iti bhavena aha sahasra iti. So all the lokas, beginning from Swarga Loka, because we know Bhuloka, Bhuvar Loka, anyway there is rebirth. But not only these 2 lokas, but Swarga Loka onwards also. Swargadaya Satyanta, from Swarga Loka to Satya Loka. Swarga Loka, Mahar Loka, Jana Loka, Tapo Loka, Satya Loka. All those 5 also. Because of the nature of time, Kala Parichinnatvat. Kala has a property called Parichinnatvam. It is divisible. Okay? It is not indivisible. It is not, what do you call it? It is not like the Jivatma, which is indivisible. Jivatma cannot be divided. So because of the nature of time, they will eventually, at some point in time, they will also have a destruction. Yadye brahmanah chaturmukasya ahardhinam nrimanena sahasrayuga paryantam viduhu chaturyuga sahasram tu brahmano dinamuchyate iti smritehe. So I will not repeat whatever I just said, which was also in Vishwanath Chakravarti's commentary. Sahasram chaturyugani paryantaha avasanam yasya tat tasya ratrim cha chaturyuga sahasrantam viduhu eva yoginah janaha ahoratra vido bhavanti. Natu anye chandrarka gati vidaha Maharlokadistithanam upalakshanam etat. Ayam arthaha nrinam varsham devanam ahoratram. Here he says he is comparing the human time scale to the time scale of the Devas. Devas live in Swargaloka. So there in Swargaloka, 1 year on the earth, nrinam varsham devanam ahoratra. It is 1 day and 1 night for them, for the Devas. 1 year for the human beings, which consists of 1 Uttarayana, 1 Dakshinayana. Right? We have 1 Uttarayana, 1 Dakshinayana in 1 year. 6 months, approximately 6 months each. So that is just 1 day for the 1 24-hour cycle for the Devas, 1 daytime and 1 nighttime. Tadrishaihi ahoratraihi pakshamasadi gananaya dvadashabhihi varsha sahasraihi chaturyuganam sahasram tu brahmanodinam. So he's saying for Devas, by this day and night, for in their time scale, Tadrishahi ahoratrahi pakshamasadi gananaya dvadashabhihi varsha sahasrahi chaturyugam. Means 12,000 chaturyugas is their lifetime. The Brahma's lifetime, Chaturyuga, the Deva's lifetime. 12,000 chaturyugas for us. No, I think I'm not saying it correctly. 1 second. Let me just read it again. Tadrishaihi ahoratraihi pakshamasadi gananaya dvadashabhihi varsha sahasraihi chaturyugam chaturyuganam sahasram tu brahmanah dinam. This portion is very clear. The 1,000 chaturyugas make 1 daytime of Brahma. Ratrim cha tavatyeva. Nighttime is also of the same duration. Here he says 12,000 years of human beings. Sahasraihi chaturyugam is 1 chaturyuga for them. That is 12,000. Yeah, 12,000 years of the Devas is one caturyuga here. I'll tell you exactly one caturyuga is how much. Then you will understand the comparison. Yes. One caturyuga on the earth is 12,000 years of the devas. Tadrishascha ahoratraihi pakshadi gananaya varshashatam tasya paramayuriti. So Brahma's lifespan is much more, because in one caturyuga on the earth, devas experience 12,000 years. We experience much more, and Brahma experiences just 1,000th of his daytime. One caturyuga for him is 1,000, because one day has got 1,000 caturyugas. So tadrishaihi varshashatam tasya paramayuru. His life is 100 of such years. Tadante tal lokasya tadvartinam cha vinashat avrittihi siddha iti. So at the end of that 100 years of Brahma, that Satyaloka also is destroyed. Now I have prepared a separate document in which I will explain Brahma's lifespan and universal time in this shloka. Then we'll go back to the next shloka after that. So here, just to give us a perspective, comparison of humans and devas, the time scale comparison. 1 year for human beings in Bhuloka is 1 day plus 1 night for the devas in Swargaloka. 1 year for the devas is 360 days plus nights for human beings. So our 360 years, like one year has got 12 months for the devas, and each month has got 30 days in their lifespan. 12 into 30, 360 years for us becomes 1 year for them. One Kali Yuga on the earth is 1200 years for the devas. Kali Yuga is what we experience on the earth. It is 1200 years the devas experience in that time scale. So which means 1200 into 360. It is 4,32,000 years for human beings. That is the duration of one Kali Yuga. The duration of one Dwapara Yuga is 2 times the duration of Kali Yuga. So which means it becomes 8,64,000 years for us and 2,400 years for the devas. One Treta Yuga similarly is 3 times a Kali Yuga. It's 3,600 for devas and 12 lakh 96,000 years for us. And one Satya Yuga is 4,000 years for the devas and 17 lakhs 28,000 years for the human beings. Therefore, adding up the 4 is one Chaturyuga. That's called one Chaturyuga. So one Chaturyuga is one cycle of 4 yugas. These 4 yugas, just like the 4 seasons we see. Western world has got 4 seasons, right? Our Vedic calendar has got 6 seasons. They have 4 seasons. So similar to that, we have 4 yugas. So one cycle of 4 yugas is 12,000 Deva years. That's what I just said in the commentary. So now if you add up 1,200 plus 2,400 plus 3,600 plus 4,800, it comes to 12,000. So one Chatur Yuga for us is 12,000 years for the Devas, which when you add up these numbers, you will get 43 lakhs 20,000 years. 43 lakhs 20,000 years or 4.32 million years, human years, is one Chatur Yuga for us. One Chatur Yuga that we experience. Okay, now going forward, yeah. We'll finish the whole thing, then we'll come back. Yeah. So one daytime is called Kalpa. The word Kalpa means one daytime of Brahma. So one daytime of Brahma is 1,000 Chatur Yuga, which then 12,000 into 1,000 becomes 1,20,000 Deva years or 4.32 billion years. Okay, 4.32 million is one Chatur Yuga. That multiplied by 1,000 becomes 4.32 billion human years. Now, in Brahma's time scale, he has also months and years. So 12 months in a year and 1 month has 30 days. So each day is called one Kalpa. And those 30 Kalpas have 30 different names. So his day 1 is called the Shweta Kalpa, Shweta Varaha Kalpa. And currently the Shweta Varaha Kalpa is going on for Brahma. Okay, yeah, I'll tell you, I'll come to that point. So like this, his tomorrow will be known as Nilohita Kalpa. His day after tomorrow will be known as Vamadeva Kalpa. And so on till he reaches the 30th day, which is called the Paitra Kalpa. And then again, the Shvetavaraha Kalpa will begin. The next month of his life will begin. Now, name of the current Kalpa of Brahma is Shweta or Shvetavaraha Kalpa. One nighttime of Brahma is the same duration as the daytime, which is also 4.32 billion. So one daytime plus one nighttime is 2,000 Chaturyugas, which is 8.64 billion human years. So 1 month will be that multiplied by 30, which becomes 259.2 billion human years. And 1 year will be that multiplied by 12, which comes to 3.1104 trillion human years. And his lifespan is 100 times 1 year of his. So that becomes 311.04 trillion human years. So the lifespan of the universe in our Shastra is described as this much. In terms of human years, it is 311, slightly more than 311 trillion years. Okay. So modern astronomy also has some numbers for how old is the universe now. And it is also in some billions or trillions. I don't know. I don't remember the exact number because there are speculations on this. It's highly speculative based on what they observe with their telescopes. So it is some huge number like that. Of course, in modern astronomy, there's no concept of end of the universe. There's only a concept of beginning. To speculate on when it began, how old it is, and so on. But our scriptures have a well-defined number like this. This is the life of the universe. So the current age of Brahma. So you may want to know how old is Brahma now. That's a very relevant question. It is said that the current Brahma, our Brahma, is 50 years old. And this is the first day of his 51st year. He is just half exactly in his middle of his lifetime. And he has 50 more years to go in his time scale. And today is the Shvetavara Kalpa of the first 51st year of his life, the first Shvetavara Kalpa. Okay, now, the next thing for us to also know is that one Kalpa of Brahma, one day of Brahma is divided into what are called as manvantaras. Every day of his is divided into 14 manvantaras. Okay, what is meant by a manvantara? So along with the manvantara, there are time periods which come in between the manvantaras for transitioning between them, and they are called manvantara sandhya. Sandhya means a transition period, a joining. Sandhya means a joining period. So 15 manvantara sandhyas, because one comes before the first one and one comes after the last one. And in between there are 13, right? So it will become 15. Now, one manvantara, because there are 14 manvantaras, one manvantara is 1000 divided by 14, which comes to 71 point something something. So that 71 round number is said to be the duration of one manvantara. 71 caturyugas is one manvantara. And the in-between time periods are each 0.4 caturyugas. So if you now do the mathematics, so one kalpa of Brahma is 14 manvantara plus 15 manvantara sandhya. 71 into 14 becomes 994. And 0.4 into 15 becomes 6. So if you do the math, you will get 1000 caturyugas. All adds up to 1000. Okay, it's very neatly explained. Okay, now what are the names of the 14 manvantaras? There are 14 manvantaras, and in which manvantara are we living now? So these are the 14 names of the manvantaras, at least in today's kalpa. I don't know if the same names apply in every kalpa, but in today's kalpa, the current day of Brahma, these are the 14 manvantaras. The first one is called the Swayambhuva manvantara, Swarochisha, Uttama manvantara, Tapasa manvantara, also called Tamasa manvantara, Raivata, Chakshusha, Vaivasvata, Savarani, Daksha Savarani, Brahma Savarani, Dharma Savarani, Rudra Savarani, Deva Savarani, and Indra Savarani. 14 names of the manvantaras of the today of Brahma. Okay, we are currently at this point of time, we are in what is called as the Vaivasvata manvantara, which is the 7th manvantara. So we are somewhere close to the noon time of Brahma. It's half a day or so, approximately. We're not yet reached the noon. That I think will come at the end of the 7th manvantara. We are here. And the present yuga that we are in is called the Kali Yuga. That we all know, right? That's one thing that is known to all of us. But which Kali Yuga? Because one manvantara has got 71 caturyugas, right? So which of the 71 caturyugas are we in? In the Vaivasvata manvantara, we are in the 28th caturyuga. 27 have got over. And in the 28th one, the first 3 yugas are over. Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga is over. And the last one, Kali Yuga, is going on. So after this, the 29th Satya Yuga will begin. So we are in the 28th Chaturyuga, and we are approximately 5,123 years into Kali Yuga. That's the approximate thing. Exact one, if you search a little bit, there are a lot of people who have published this date. So some people have even boldly gone and published the solar, the Western calendar late, some February, some date of this BC and so on. So I don't know how accurate that is, but that's at least some attempt to try to characterize the starting point. So now if you again do some math, you will see that we have about 4,26,877 years left in the Kali Yuga. That's how long Kali Yuga will go on from now. Each manvantara has a deity called the Manu. Okay, that's why it's called a manvantara. There are 14 Manus in one day of Brahma. Okay, so we've heard about the word Manu, right? When the Westerners read our scripture and they try to translate it, they say Manu is the father of mankind. And they translate like that. That's not really an accurate translation. So Manu is not just the father of mankind. You say Manu, the word man came from Manu and human came from Manu. They make some interpretations. Maybe it came, but father of mankind is a little bit of a, you can say, a distortion of the understanding of Manu. Manu is a person who is given the responsibility of the different activities that happen in a manvantara. It's just like, I mean, these are all posts. Manu is a post which a Jivatma like us takes when he's certainly eligible, just like Brahma is a post. So Manu is somebody who is given some administrative responsibility to ensure that the universe functions properly in that period that is called a manvantara, in his time period. So he presides over that. Okay, so the present Manu, for example, his name is Vaivaswan because he's a son of Vivaswan, the present Surya. So in every manvantara, all the devas change. It's like Indra in the Swargaloka. So in Swargaloka, the devas occupy these posts. They have a time span for the post for one manvantara. So we say Indra, Varuna, Chandra, Surya, and so on. So each of them has one manvantara lifespan. So our current Indra, he will live till the end of this manvantara. He has another 71 minus 28, whatever that number is. That many caturyugas of life left, right? So, so Manu is the one who is in charge of. So they report to him. They are like his subordinates. He's above them. Brahma is above everybody else. Manu is superior to the devas also. Okay, so sometimes Vishnu himself becomes a Manu, like in the Swayambhuva Manvantara. The Swayambhuva Manu, his name is Swayambhuva Manu, and he is considered an incarnation of Vishnu. In the Bhagavatam, if you recollect a few sessions back, we talked about Rishabhadeva, the Panchamaskanda of Bhagavatam. Rishabhadeva, his son Bharata, right? So Rishabhadeva is the son of Swayambhuva Manu. This happened in the Swayambhuva Manvantara. So like this, sometimes the Manu is Vishnu himself. He takes birth as Manu, but sometimes it is a Jivatma. It becomes. So when there is somebody who is not yet qualified to occupy that post, then Vishnu Swayam takes that post. So currently in the current Manvantara, for example, the Surya Deva, person who is Surya, he is also called Narayana. He's Surya Narayana, because it's Narayana who's there, it's not a Jivatma. So we say Surya Narayana. And his son is Vivaswan. Vaivaswan. His name is Vivaswan. That Surya is called Vivaswan. Vivaswan. Yes. Yes. Aham Vivasvate. Yeah, correct. So Aham Vivasvate Yogam Proktavan Aham Avyayam. In the 4th chapter, he says that I first spoke this Bhagavad-gita to Vivaswan. Yes. And then he gave it to his son Ikshvaku, right? Came in the quiz also. Yeah, it came in the quiz. Okay. So Vaivasvata Manu, the current Manu, that's how he gets his name. Vaivas, and that's how the Manvantara gets his name. Okay. Okay. So I just mentioned this now. And the current Indra's name is Purandara. Okay. So Indra is not a name of the person. It's a post. Just like Prime Minister is not his name. Narendra Modi. Currently, the person occupying his name is Narendra Modi. After some time, somebody else may occupy that same post, right? So name is Purandara for the current Indra. Similarly, the next Indra, it's already decided who will become the next Indra, and he's Bali. He's the same Bali who appears in the Vamana avatar, the story of Vamana, right? A few days back, there was Onam. Onam was celebrated. Onam is celebrated as in memory of Vamana. The Malayalis, they celebrate memory of Vamana and Bali, the king Bali. So it is said that Bali, after that incident happened, Bali was sent to Sutala. One of the 14 lokas is called Sutala, right? We talked about Atala, Vitala, Sutala last time, the 7 planets, 7 lokas. So Bali is staying now in Sutala. At the end of this Manvantara, he will be promoted to the post of Indra. So in the next Manvantara, which is called the Savarni Manvantara, he will become the Indra. Because that's what he wanted, no? If you see the story of Bali and Vamana, what did Bali do? He illegally went and occupied the post of Indra. He became very powerful, performed some yajnas, had a strong desire to become Indra. He was not happy being what he was. He was son of Virochana. That's basically the grandson of Prahlad, and already in a big dynasty, but not happy with that. I want to become Indra. I want to occupy that post, Indra post. So he took a powerful army, went outside Swargaloka and chased him away. Indra did not even fight with him. Indra said, I can't fight with this guy. He just went away from there and he went to Vishnu and prayed to him. So Bali's desire is to become Indra. It was like that. Got the blessings of Vishnu, got the grace of his own grandfather Prahlad, became free from that. Now he doesn't have that desire. But Vishnu said, you had the desire earlier, no? So now you will still become Indra. Don't worry. Before you get mukti, before you come back to me, you will become Indra for one lifetime. For one manvantara, you will rule as Indra and then you will come to me. So he will now become Indra. So this is the short perspective on how time scales change from one loka to another loka. As we go towards the higher lokas, their time scales are different. In their time scale, we have a very, very minute lifespan. For example, from Indra's perspective, each of us live only for some very, very short time. Maybe in his lifespan, we live for a few months or few years. We think we live 100 years because in our experience, it's 100 years, right? Similarly, in Brahma's lifespan, we live just for one point of time. And that's also a reason why we say that life is so flickering and we are continuously moving. From Brahma's perspective, every point of time, we're just in one lifetime. So we are all the time changing our body. Body is going from one body to another body, right? That's why it's samsara. Samsarati, see samsara. Always moving, always on the move. So going back to our shloka, the English translation would be as follows. Those who understand the universal time scale know that Sri Brahma's daytime and his nighttime are each 1000 caturyugas long. So after saying this, he goes to the next shloka. He says, Avyaktad vyaktayah sarvaha prabhavanti aharagame ratriagame praliyante tatraiva avyakta samyake. Avyakta here in this shloka refers to Sri Brahma's in his sleeping state. When Brahma is asleep. Avyakta literally, the direct translation of the word avyakta means jo vyakt nahi hai. In Hindi, what do we mean by vyakta? That which is explicitly perceptible, explicitly seen, available, right? Manifest. You say explicitly manifest. It's visible, perceptible. Avyakta, that which is not explicitly manifest. It is present, but it's not manifest to the outside world or apart from it. Those apart from it cannot see it or cannot perceive it. It's avyakta. Now, that word avyakta is used in the Shastra for referring to various different things in different contexts. Sometimes it refers to Bhagavan himself. Sometimes it refers to the original source of matter, Prakriti. It's called the Jada Prakriti, the original form of matter. Today, the matter we experience is this gross matter, right? But the source of that, it goes through multiple transformations. The most original source of matter is called avyakta, so called Prakriti. But here in this shloka, avyakta refers to Sri Brahma in his sleeping state. When he is completely asleep, that's like an unmanifest state. He is in yoga nidra. Okay, he is in the state of shushupti, his shushupti. Avyaktat vyaktayah sarvaha prabhavanti aharagame. When his daytime begins, aharagame means when his daytime begins. At the time he comes out of that sleeping state and he becomes fully conscious. His Jagrati begins. At the time of Jagrati, Vyaktayah sarvaha prabhavanti. All the manifest elements come out of his body, come out of him. What are they? They are basically the bodies of the living beings, our bodies. All the jivatmas, the bodies get created. And they are called the bhoga bhumi. They are the places where we experience our bhoga. We experience enjoyment, suffering. The bhoga. Bhoga means both enjoyment and suffering. That we experience because of the body, right? If this body is not there, we don't experience that. So, avyaktat vyaktaya sarvaha prabhavanti aharagame ratriagame praliyante. When the night time comes, praliyante. They go back into him. Tatraiva avyakta samyak. They go back to the same place, which is called avyakta. Avyakta samyake means in the place which is known as avyakta. Okay. Correct? Right. That is Brahma, the sleeping Brahma. Brahma who is now going to sleep. They go back to him. Okay. So these commentaries are shorter. I'll just run through them. Yetu tato arvachinaha trilokastaha tesham tu tasya ahanyahanyaphi pataha ityaha avyaktaditi. So those who are below Brahmaloka, and particularly these lokas, Bhuloka, Bhuvarloka, people on these lokas, they go through again, day and every day and night of Brahma, they go through creation, destruction. Atra dainandana srishti pralayayoho akashadinam sattvat avyakta shabdena swapavastah prajapatireva uchyate iti Madhusudana Saraswati Padaha. So it's just like in our PhD work, okay? You are a PhD scholar and you also. So when we write something as scholars, we always cite the previous scholars, right? If you see a paper, academic paper, it doesn't say just say my opinion. It says so and so has said this, so and so has said that. It's exactly the way that our acharyas also, when they wrote commentaries, they studied the commentaries of the earlier acharyas before them. They didn't just use their imagination. Of course, they used their understanding also, but they first studied the earlier acharyas and then they built upon them. They extended their understanding or they gave an interpretation in addition to them. So now here, Vishwanath Chakravarti cites another very famous scholar before him called Madhusudana Saraswati, whose commentary on the Gita is very famous in scholarly circles. So he says, Madhusudana Saraswati explains why we should understand the Avyakta word as referring to Brahma who is sleeping and not to refer to either Vishnu or to refer to the Prakriti or anything like that, right? So he says that, see, when this happens, when all the Jivatmas go to Brahma's body, only that destruction happens. But all the other forms of matter, they remain as they are. So he says, one example is the Akash. Akash or Kham, you say, space. Akash in English is space. Space, right? Space is a form of matter, just like time is a form of matter. So space remains as it is. Nothing happens to it. Akasha is Nitya, as far as Brahma's lifetime is concerned. Beyond that, it is Anitya. But within that lifetime, Akash remains like that. Our bodies, they are destroyed. All the Jivatmas go into his body, they come out of his body. But Akash doesn't change. So he says, because of that, keeping that in mind, we should not think Prakriti has become destroyed. If in Prakriti, when the final destruction happens, Akash also gets destroyed, right? And that is why this is referring to the, particularly referring to sleeping Brahma, Brahma who is sleeping. So this is how analysis is done. Very fine analysis goes into the nuances of the words. And that's how they have built these commentaries. Tatascha avyaktat swapavasthat prajapatehe sakashat avyaktayah vyaktayah sharira vishayadi rupaha bhoga bhumayah, the places of enjoyment, which are our bodies, bhavanti vyavahara kshamaha syuhu, and they are capable of enabling us to do different activities. If we don't have this body, we can't do any activity, right? Ratriagame tasya swapakale praliyante tasminneva tiro bhavanti. They go back to him at night time. Yetu tasmad arvachinaha triloki vartinaha tesham brahmanaha dine pataha syati ityaha avyaktadeti aharagame brahmanaha jagara samaye avyaktat swapavastat tasmat sarvaha sharirendriya bhogya bhogastana rupaha vyaktayah prabhavanti utpadyante. Okay, I'm not repeating the meanings. It's very almost the same as what he said. Ratriagame tasya swapa samaye tatraiva brahmani avyakta samyake swapavaste karane taha praliyante tiro bhavanti. Atra avyakta shabdena pradhanam na abhideyam. So he's pointing out that here, by the word avyakta, we should not think it is pradhana. Pradhana is a source of matter. Don't think it is pradhana. Why? Because dainandina srishti pralayayoho upakramat. Because in this context, already he's speaking about the day and night of Brahma in the last shloka. So after speaking about that, why will he talk about matter? So he's speaking something about Brahma's day and night. Tada vyadadinam sthitatvacha. Vyat means akash. Kintu swapavasto brahmaiva tasyartha. Okay. So now I'll conclude the 18th shloka. From Sri Brahma, who is asleep, Avyakta, the material bodies of the living beings are created. And when he awakens the start of his day, and when he returns to sleep at the start of his night, they disappear into him. So moving forward, in the 19th shloka, Bhutagramasa evayam bhutva bhutva praliyate Ratriagame avashaha partha prabhavatyah ragame. This is just a conclusion, tying up what was said in the last two shlokas. In this manner, O Partha, this totality of living beings necessarily and repeatedly manifests and disappears. It manifests at the arrival of Brahma's day and disappears at the arrival of his night. Okay, so in these three shlokas, essentially, Sri Bhagavan has elaborated on what he said in the immediate shloka before them, which was the 16th shloka. So there in that 16th shloka, he had compared Abrahma Bhuvanal Loka to Punaravartino Arjuna, Mamupetya tu Kaunteya Punarjanmana Vidyate. All the lokas in this material universe, including that of Brahma, there is rebirth, but in my abode, there is no rebirth. So to make that point more clear, these three shlokas and pointed out that, look, Brahmaloka is very superior, no doubt about that. But even there, this transformation keeps happening. The living beings go inside and they come out. They go inside and come out. So there is nothing special about Brahmaloka from a larger perspective. From a more narrow perspective, yes, it is very special. It's a lofty place to go. We don't condemn it. But from a higher perspective, it is nothing compared to Vaikuntha. So after having described Brahmaloka like this, in the next three shlokas, 20, 21, and 22, he will directly speak about his dham. He will say, beyond this is my dham. Parastasmatu bhavonyo vyakto avaktat sanatan. Yasa sarveshu bhuteshu nashyatsu na vinashyati. That will never be destroyed even when all of this is destroyed. That will remain eternal. Okay, so we will do that, those three shlokas in the next session. So today I will stop here by just saying that he is giving us a perspective on what should be our goal in life. From the Bhagavad-Gita, what is the goal of Bhagavad-Gita? Now, if you ask any common man on the street, everybody will say that, for example, if you begin by asking, do you know about Bhagavad-Gita? Yeah, of course, I know Bhagavad-Gita. It's the highest scripture, people will say, right? Nobody will deny that. There's nobody who says Bhagavad-Gita is useless. Everybody will agree. Bhagavad-Gita is a great scripture. You ask them, okay, what does it tell us? What is the essential message of Bhagavad-Gita? Now, most people, they may either say that you should be a good human being or something like that. Somebody who knows a little bit more will say that Bhagavad-Gita tells us to do our duty sincerely, karma yoga, right? That's what he was telling Arjuna. Arjuna was not doing his duty. He was supposed to be fighting the war. So the Bhagavad-Gita is spoken, not for Arjuna, but for us, that we should do our duty sincerely. And it stops there. That is the understanding that a majority of even learned people have about Bhagavad Gita. I've seen big scholars who have not studied the Shastra, but who have studied a lot of other things, explaining the Bhagavad Gita like this. True, Bhagavad Gita speaks about Karma Yoga very much. A lot of Bhagavad Gita is about Karma Yoga. First 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita is devoted to Karma Yoga. But Bhagavad Gita is much beyond Karma Yoga. So here, Sri Bhagavan is telling us about the temporariness of this material world and what our real goal in life, to discover our eternal nature and attain that nature. Take birth in our eternal existence and remain there forever. Why come back to this world again? Why take birth again, right? And what is the way to do that? Like we have been telling in every class, right? He says, Daivi hi esha gunamayi mama maya duratyaya. The reason why we are here is because of Maya. And this Maya is Duratyaya, very, very difficult to cross over. Mameva ye prapadyante Maya metam tarante. Those who take refuge in me, only they will be able to come to me, will be able to overcome this Maya and come to me. And that's exactly what he's trying to tell us. So in the 7th chapter, he says that in the 18th chapter, Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam raja. He says, give up all your dharma, whatever other dharma you have. Not give up in the sense that dharma is not bad. Any form of dharma is dharma, it's good. But in comparison to the dharma that I am teaching you in the Bhagavad Gita, Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam raja. Just take refuge in me alone. Aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishmi. Don't be afraid that because you stop doing other forms of dharma, you will get pap. That will not happen, because I will protect you. I will protect you and I will take you to me. Okay, so the highest message of Bhagavad Gita is bhakti, bhakti yoga. And this is what we have been saying. And again, in the next session, we will elaborate as Sri Bhagavan describes his Vaikuntha Dham. We will talk about bhakti in connection with that also. So that's it for today. And if you have any questions, any comments, you are wanting to ask something, yeah, Prapti.
I have two questions. One is that in the previous yoga, when we said when we were understanding the universal time scale, so we said that higher lokas have like lesser time or more time as compared to us. So does it apply to the lokas that are below us, like for maybe I don't know the ratio, but maybe 1 year on Earth is 2 year on Patal loka or something?
It's a very good question. And honestly, I don't have an answer to that question. I've thought about it earlier, but I could not find a description anywhere else. Maybe it is described somewhere. Future I'll find.
I was just thinking from my perspective, to be completely wrong, because lower lokas involve suffering, and any which way, even when we're in loka, and if we when we're suffering, naturally it feels that the time is longer, and at the time of happiness, it feels the time is shorter. So somehow in my mind, it felt like definitely the lower lokas time will be felt much longer. I mean, even if we are living 1 year in Earth, they will be little okay 2 year or maybe 3 year, whatever, because they will be in much more suffering than what we are here.
It's possible. It's possible. Yeah. But a little point you should consider in that argument is that in the lower lokas also, Atala, Vitala, Sutala, which we spoke about in the last class, they don't actually experience the suffering we experience on the earth. They are suffering from the larger perspective, because anything in this samsara is suffering, but they are called Bilaswarga, means they are in the lower gunas, Rajas and Tamas. The people in the higher lokas, they are in Sattva, more in Sattva than we are. Lower gunas, they are more in Rajas and Tamas than we are. But the lower lokas are also designed in a manner that they are like Swargaloka in some sense. There's a lot of enjoyment there, material enjoyment. They are designed for sensual pleasure, different types of sensual pleasure. Just like on this earth, we have areas like for example, if you compare India with, say, a Western country, developed country, like Japan or the US, then you'll see that if you go there, the opportunity for pleasure is much more, right? India is not like, at least not yet like that. And we are actually a spiritual country, and we were designed, our kings, they designed the country, or they led the country in the direction of spirituality, right? So we didn't bother to go and invent and build skyscrapers, and sensuality was only a small part of society's focus. But if you go outside India, you'll find that enjoying pleasures is much more readily available, and that they are designed like that. If you go to Singapore, Dubai, everywhere there is opportunity for sense enjoyment, if you have that money and if you have the appetite for it, right? So these Bilaswargas are like that. The lower planetary lokas, they are also designed like that. So those who cannot make it to the Swargaloka by virtue of punya, or the kind of punya required for Swargaloka, they'll end up here. And they will also enjoy for their lifetime, whatever that lifetime is.
How is it like from a childhood memory? Like my parents used to say when we used to do something wrong, Kumbi Park Narak milega, wahan pe bahut kharab hota hai, stuff like that.
Narak is different. So that's why in the last class I distinguished between the 7 lokas, Atala, Vitala, Sutala, all the way till Patala, 7 lokas. Naraka is below them.
Okay.
Naraka is suffering. I said that there are 28 types of Naraka. That is not included in these 7. Naraka is hardcore suffering. There, it is punished like a prison house. Like if you put somebody into a jail, I gave that analogy also. There they are beaten and they are made to do hard labor, and they are not given proper food. They have to clean the toilets. So all kinds of suffering is there. Concentration camp. Naraka is exactly, that's an even better word than prison house. At least in the prison, there are some rules and so on. But this is like concentration camp. They mercilessly beat you. And this is in the Bhagavatam, in the Panchama Skanda of Bhagavatam. I think the last chapter, or the second last chapter of that adhyaya, of that skanda. You will find that the description of these 28 narakas, all of them are given there. You should check it out. And you will see that the suffering there is real suffering that you don't experience here.
Does the Jivatma remember after taking birth again on the earth that I may have suffered like that in one of the things? So what is the point of subjecting the being to that suffering when the being is forgetting?
Yeah, so the point is that because he has done that pap, right, that pap has to be removed. That pap has to be removed. And so to remove that pap, he has to go through that. Now, yeah, so he's blessed with, so it's a blessing in one sense. Yeah, of course, I agree with you that if he remembered it, then he's less likely to do pap again. you remembered that. Yeah, yeah. So what happens is when we, so I'll tell you something little bit, to which will add to this argument, that even though memory is not there. See, if memory was there, there is a plus point to it, there's a minus point also. The plus point is that if there's conscious memory that, okay, I was sometime in this naraka for some time and ever again, right? Yeah, yeah. But the minus point is that I will not be able to live a normal life. The trauma will be there, right? Yeah, yeah. So in place of that, there is something known as samskara and vasana. Samskara is an impression that is created in the subtle body, in our subtle linga shariram, right? That goes with us when we go from life to life. And samskara is created by experience, anubhav. Samskara is anubhava janya. अनुभव जब होता है, अनुभव से संस्कार होता है. अगर कुछ अच्छा अनुभव हुआ, मान लीजिए कि आपको बहुत उसमें खुशी मिली, तो अच्छा संस्कार होता है. उसका याद जब आता है तो आपको बहुत अच्छा लगता है. जब कुछ बुरा अनुभव होता है, देन बुरा लगता है उसके बारे में. This memory resides in an unconscious, subconscious way in the samskara. So what happens because of that, when the person gets an opportunity for doing pap, he is less likely to do it because of this samskara. Even though he may not consciously remember the suffering he went through in that narakaloka. When he went through the suffering, he repents and he apologizes. He repeatedly says, I'm sorry I did that. I don't want to do it. I'll never do it again. So that resides in him in a subconscious manner when he takes birth again. And that protects him again from pap. Yeah, to that extent. But again, when he comes here, see, after all, what is making us live here? Ichha and dvesha. Ichha and dvesha. So even that particular tendency may not be there to do stealing, but the tendency to enjoy, ichha doesn't go away. The two fundamental things which come from avidya. Avidya is the most fundamental reason we are in this samsara. Avidya gives rise to two things. It's called raga and dvesha, or ichha and dvesha. In the Gita, it comes repeatedly. Raga and kama, raga and dvesha. Raga dvesha, kama dvesha, ichha dvesha. It comes in different terminology. These two things. Because of that, even though he has gone through that suffering there, even though there is a samskara in him which can protect him from doing that pap again, because of ichha and dvesha, he is driven to papa. In the third chapter, if you recollect, Sri Bhagavan, Arjuna asks Bhagavan that why is it that even a person with lot of knowledge and intelligence, he still commits papa? There's a question Arjuna asks him. He says, Sri Bhagavan replies, is kama esha krodha esha rajoguna samudbhavaha mahashano mahapapma vidyena miha vairina. This is this kama, lust or desire, the desire to enjoy, the desire to do something which gives pleasure through the senses. That drives a person to do papa. And therefore, this kama is the greatest enemy, he says. Mahashanaha. Mahashanaha means that which devours us, that which eats us up. It eats us up. And Mahavairi, it's a great enemy. Mahashano mahapapma vidyena mahavairena. This lust. Lust only does not mean sexual desire. It means any kind of, any sense, sense pleasure, any form of sense pleasure is kama.
And also Lord Krishna somewhere also says about how the human nature is made of three gunas, and it is fixed, it won't change over lifetime. And that is also decided by the past karmas, how we have done in the past life. Those things make up the gunas that come in the new life that a person takes in. So maybe these three gunas also have a huge effect on how we lead a life along with sanskar.
Absolutely. The three gunas that we are born with, the dominant gunas that are affecting us. Some people born predominantly sattvic, some people predominantly rajasic, some people tamasic. That is our past karma. It's a function of our past karma and what we have accumulated, samskaras, etc. They carry forward. It's a cumulative total. That cumulative effect, when we take birth, we get what is called the swabhav of that birth. We are born with a particular swabhav, which is a function of these three gunas. That swabhav manifests in the form of these tendencies. Some people, like you said, some people have a tendency to steal, to tell lies. And some people, by default, even if you don't tell them, they will never tell lies. Inside, there is a conscience functioning in them. Even if they have an opportunity to tell a lie, and if it will benefit them if they tell a lie, they will not say. They will say that, no, I should not say this. Nobody has even told them that you should not tell lies, but naturally it comes to them. Why? Because they have done that punya in the past. They have that built up that sattva in them, right? So they will naturally be there.
And also parents' karmas will also affect the kids.
Parents' karma also affects. So there is also that matching. So when a child is born to parents, it's not a random. Exactly. It's not just a random allocation. It's not a random algorithm working, allocate any jivatma to anybody. It's not like that. So there is a program working which says, okay, these parents will get this jivatma, right? So there's a universal system which works. Everything runs on this system.
Second question is on the current sloka that we did. Just one part I need more understanding. It says that living being will manifest and disappear. So it will appear in Brahma's day and disappear in night. But in the previous one, we understood, right? Even while he's sleeping, the world is functioning the same way. I mean, there are thousand caturyugas that people are living, people are doing their activities.
No.
Yeah.
I said Akash exists. Matter exists as it is. It is dormant. The jivatmas, so there is no activity. There's no activity. All the jivatmas go into his body. And that is his night time. He's in Shushupti.
During that time, there is no there is no activity happening. There is no Ramayana.
Nothing happening. Yeah. All this activity, Ramayana, Mahabharata, everything. All the yugas, caturyugas. So the night time is having that length. Duration is 1,000 caturyugas. But actual caturyugas take place in the daytime. Yeah, in his daytime. All the manvantaras are only in the daytime. Yeah. Thank you. It's a good question, actually. Yeah. Many people would have that doubt. Yes.
Sir, yesterday, Neha is there online, so she was asking about this thing. Is Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam somewhere mentioned in our scriptures, or is it
Yes.
something that would have made up
No.
in India because of tolerance and all this?
No, it's not a recently made up thing. It is there in the Shastra. The full shloka is like this. Ayam nijo paroveti ganana lagu chetasam udara charitanam tu vasudhaiva kutumbakam. I'll explain the meaning. This is actually, I think, from the Niti Shastra or from maybe one of the Smriti Shastras. I'm not sure exactly from where it comes, but it's a very famous shloka. It is taught to all the children when they first study in school, and it is something that everybody should know. Ayam nijaha parova iti. Means this person is my person. This person is not my person. This kind of thinking. Ayam nijaf paroveti. Ganana lagu chetasam. This kind of thinking is a thinking of narrow-minded people. Lagu chetasa or lagu chetaha means a person who is very narrow-minded, who doesn't have a larger perspective in life, who is not high-thinking. Udara charitanam, people who are broad-minded, or people who think from a high perspective, right? People whose thinking is elevated. Udara charitanam tu vasudhaiva kutumbakam. They do not think this person is mine, this person is my enemy, this person is my friend. Vasudhaiva kutumbakam. Vasudha eva kutumbakam. Vasudha means Bhumi. Vasudha is the name of Mother Earth. This entire earth is one family. Kutumbakam. Yeah. Kutumbam means family. Kutumbaka, the ka pratyaya is added in the sense of swarthe. Swarthe ka pratyaya means it is my family. Kutumbakam, it is my family. The whole earth is my family. Okay, not so-and-so is mine, so-and-so is his. This is the normal thinking. Most people think like that, right? Ye apna aadmi hai, ye to uska aadmi hai. In Hindi we say that, right? So this thinking, our Shastra teaches we should not have this. We should have a thinking that everybody is our person. We should treat everybody with respect, everybody with kindness. Okay, within that there are sometimes we say is my son, so I'll give some, I'm responsible for my son, I'm responsible for my wife. That is fine. It doesn't mean now all responsibility is gone. That is there. but I will treat everybody equally. I will treat everybody with respect, with kindness. This is inbuilt into Hinduism. That is why we were so tolerant. So tolerance is an outcome of that, because of this kind of thinking. Right? It's not a political thing. Yeah.
So that conference that we are having on the mark of 75th anniversary, the tagline is what to give to the
What's the way to put it? Yeah.
And I just have two thoughts. So the first thought is, I think when the body perishes and the soul goes, depending on the positive and negative of the soul, it goes to narka, and in the narka it undergoes lot of hardships. And I think then God gives the soul an opportunity that we come back to earth, we take a body and try not to repeat that.
Yeah.
And I think the connection between so as you said, samskara, I will be able to know my samskara if I am on this path of spirituality. Because spirituality connects my gross body with my I believe that spirituality connects my gross body with my samskara in the past. So if I have a samskara, if I have a tendency of something bad, maybe consciously, if I am on the spiritual path, I will have those triggers. Should I do it? Should I not do it?
Yes.
Instead of just going and doing it without even knowing that this is bad. So I think this is where yoga comes in.
Yes.
So that's one of my thoughts.
So yoga changes our samskara.
Yeah, yoga changes.
Whichever form of yoga, if it is done properly, and the most powerful among them is bhakti. When you do bhakti, that samskara is destroyed. You see, so many people when they come to bhakti, when their life changes and the tendencies they had earlier, they no longer are attracted to those tendencies. They give up those tendencies and they themselves are surprised. How did I give it up? I was attracted to that so much before. Why am I not attracted to it now? Even they are not able to explain. And this is true not only for bhakti, but bhakti is most powerful. Even in karma yoga, if somebody does karma yoga the way it is meant to be done, somebody practices ashtanga yoga, jnana yoga, all of them. Because yoga itself means connecting with Bhagavan, whichever form of yoga you do. So all of them change the samskara. They burn the papa and punya completely. Usko nash kar dete hain. Yeah. So the tendencies will change.
Very powerful.
Yeah.
Sometimes I believe that the weight loss will happen if you're on a 50 bar or a type of bar. If you just try to reduce your diet or you do it, I mean, for that matter, anything. Like if you want to be successful on a study, you have to eat your spiritual anywhere. Like you want to
Exactly. So even a person who actually is wanting material success also, if they do bhakti, if they go through this, yes, material success also becomes easier. Yes. Yes. Exactly.
And the second thing is your hypothesis might be true for the nurses. So maybe she was telling about the time dilation.
Yeah.
Like my 1 year would be 2 years of the nurse. Might not be a Putala or Talatala, because over there also, there are amazing. I read this that day. There are amazing, like the Nagman. There's a planet full of Nag devas and
Patala, yeah. Patala.
So they also enjoy the life of it. So in fact, their time dilation could be as lower as that of 12 years old. But it's very interesting point.
Absolutely, yeah.
We can do research.
We can read more. See, these things are not all mentioned in one place.
Yeah.
For example, the Bhagavatam, where last time I showed you the structure of the 7. In that place, the description of the lower lokas is given, but description of higher lokas is not given there. So I want to know what happens on Bhuvar Loka, Swarga Loka, in Mahar Loka, Jana Loka, Tapo Loka. But at least there it's not given. It must be given elsewhere. There must be some other place. In the Bhagavatam, it's not given. It must be in maybe Mahabharata, Ramayana, so many Puranas are there. Bhagavatam relatively is a smaller Purana compared to the others. Like Skanda Purana is huge, 81,000 shlokas. Bhagavatam is only 18,000.
This reminds me of like one of the Prabhuji told me Ishopanishad.
Ishopanishad.
It has been mentioned that when Sri Vishnu sleeps from his pores, multiple universes come out and multiple universes get inside from the pores of his body.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I'm not unable to recollect whether it is in Ishopanishad or elsewhere, but it is there. It is given somewhere. Yes.
Of course, like
Mahavishnu. Yes. Yes.
Multiple universes.
Yes. Yes.
So, very good question. And at the time of the universe is also almost similar. So, I wanted to continue. It's in billions because we are only calculating till the current point.
Yeah.
I'm sure if we take time to it will be somewhat similar to what we have.
Yeah. So as per the Vedic understanding, the life of the universe, the current age of the universe is 311 trillion divided by 2.
By 2. Okay. Okay.
That would be 155, 1.5, 155,
155.
about 155 trillion years. Yeah, but I don't know if modern science has a similar conclusion. Probably not. They work based on other considerations. Yeah, but they do agree that it's quite a large number.
Stephen Hawking said that the universe is not static; it is constantly expanding. So,
Yeah.
I think if we do more research into it, a lot of research ideas are coming up.
No, I don't want that for you.
After-
I won't. Yeah. Until you finish your PhD, you are not going to get into anything else. So now you've made me ADFPM in the middle of the Gita class. Those online, Anjana, Subhashish, Shomodeep, any questions?
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
So I just have maybe my question may sound very easy, but I just wanted to know the understanding that we discussed about the timing, how it changes from one loka to another loka, and now when we are here in this loka, so having that understanding, how exactly should it impact our journey? Can you guide in that direction, like in maybe in easy words?
Well, the Gita's point is that don't bother about it. The
Okay.
details are given just to educate us about the reality around us, just to show that, well, if somebody thought that going to Swarga or going to a higher loka inside this universe is a worthy goal, just to show them that it is not a worthy goal. Instead, they should aim for eternal freedom from this material existence. That's what it is saying. So you don't have to worry about the lokas. All the details I'm giving only from an academic perspective, just for knowledge. That's all. But even if you don't know, even if you didn't know these things, it doesn't matter. As long as you know that your goal is to attain Sri Bhagavan. Sri Bhagavan's lotus feet, that's our goal. And we want to go there. We want to attain him. And we want to ensure that eternally we are in his seva. We enter into his eternal seva and remain there. We don't ever experience material existence again. That is the goal.
Okay. And one more thing, sir. While I heard the answer that you responded to Prapti's question, but I could not clearly hear what exactly she asked.
Yeah.
Can you
He
just
was asking
reiterate?
whether the time scale in the lower lokas, just like if you go higher, then people in Swargaloka, for them, in their short span of time, we experience a long time, right?
Mhm.
For example, 1 day for them is 1 year for us. So she asked if the inverse is true as we go to the lower lokas. If we go to Atala, Vitala, Sutala, the lower Patala Loka and so on,
Right.
below the Bhulok. So is it the other way around? Like, for example, 1 day for us is 1 year for them, right?
Okay.
She asked me if that is true. And logically, it does sound, it may be true. It's possible. It's possible. But I don't have a source which I can cite for that.
Okay.
So it's an interesting question. And I think we can find the answer in the course of time.
Yeah, sure. Yes, sir.
Where
Thank
are you
you.
now, Anjana? You're in your room or?
Yes, sir. We returned to Agra. Last time we were in Haridwar
Yes.
and connected. So we are at our home right now. We'll be flying back to Jamshedpur on coming Sunday.
Okay, good. That's
Yes,
nice.
sir.
Yeah, if you reach on time, then you can join us in the classroom.
Yes. We'll be reaching by 4:30 to the college.
Good. 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 If you can come here. Good. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we planned it that way so that we can attend the class in person.
Nice. Yeah. Good. Neha, do you have any questions? Neha, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. No question, sir.
Okay. Okay. Good. Anyone else? Arnab is not here. Otherwise, he would have asked something. So if nobody has any further questions here, shall we close for today? Otherwise, okay, good. So I'll do the Antyamangalam and then I will close. Om Swastif Prajabhyah Paripalayantam Nyayena Margena Mahim Mahishaah Gobrahmanebhyo Shubhamastu Nityam Lokas Samastas Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Tad Vishno Paramam Padagum Sada Pashyanti Surayah Divi Vachakshuratatam Tadvipraso Vipanyavo Jagruvagum Sassamindhate Vishnoryat Paramam Padam Parya Aptya Anantarayaya Sarvastamotiratra Uttamamahadbhavati Sarvasyaptyai Sarvasya Jityai Sarvameva Tena Apnoti Sarvam Jayati. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. धन्यवादः. पुनर्मिलामः अग्रिमभानुवासरे पुनर्मिलामः.